Wait, my son. What do you mean by that? Are you aware that that baby is the future of our family? No, it's not going to be easy, but you must let Ngozi go if it comes to it. Once upon a time, in the beautiful city of Abakaliki, there lived a young man named Ndubuisi. He was a hardworking and kind soul, known for his loyalty to his family and deep respect for tradition. His mom, Mama B, was the pillar of his life, a strong woman who had raised Ndubuisi single-handedly after his father passed away at the age of 4. Her words were law, and her wisdom guided Ndubuisi through almost every significant part of his life. However, Ndubuisi's world changed the day he met Ngozi. It was at a family friend's wedding when Ndubuisi first saw her. Ngozi, with her warm smile and lively spirit, stood out amidst the celebration. She wasn't from that city. She had come from Lagos for her cousin's wedding. Ndubuisi, usually shy around women, found himself drawn to her. He introduced himself, and from that moment on, the two seemed inseparable. As weeks turned into months, Ndubuisi and Ngozi's love blossomed. They spent long nights on the phone talking about their hopes and dreams. Ngozi admired Ndubuisi's calm strength, while he loved her for her independence and kind heart. Soon, Ndubuisi proposed to Ngozi. It was a joyous moment, but even though Ngozi accepted the proposal, Ndubuisi insisted that he would have to meet his mother for the wedding date and for everything concerning the wedding. Blinded by love, Ngozi didn't think too much of it. I haven't ever made any significant decision with my life without my mom, he told Ngozi casually. Mama B is a walking wisdom box. She knows everything, Ndubuisi continued proudly. It wasn't just love that bound him to her words. It was a deep-rooted respect for the sacrifices she had made. Mama B had raised Ndubuisi under difficult circumstances. His father had passed away in an accident when Ndubuisi was only 4. In those early years, she worked tirelessly to provide for her son, sending him to the best schools and ensuring he never lacked anything. Ndubuisi's loyalty to her grew from the belief that he owed her his life. After all, she had sacrificed her happiness and well-being for his future. When Ndubuisi had earlier told her about his intentions to marry Ngozi, her response was, Dana is a good woman, but remember, family comes first. Ndubuisi nodded, feeling both proud and conflicted. He loved Ngozi deeply, but he couldn't imagine making decisions without his mother's input. As their wedding day approached, Mama B's influence became even more pronounced. She advised them on everything: the color they will wear, the wedding gown, and the suits, and even the kind of guests to invite. After they married, Ndubuisi and Ngozi moved into a home near their mothers. Their love remained strong, but Mama B's presence in their marriage was constant. She visited often, sometimes daily, advising Ngozi on how to be a good wife. One afternoon, Mama B barged in while Ngozi was preparing a meal for Ndubuisi. No, Mama B said, shaking her head. Ndubuisi doesn't like his stew like this. You should use less oil now. Ngozi sighed, biting her tongue. She loved Ndubuisi and wanted peace, but living under Mama B's constant criticism, it was unbearable. Please talk to your mother, Ngozi pleaded one night. I can't keep living like this now. But Ndubuisi, blind to the toll it was taking on his wife, dismissed her concerns. She's only trying to help, he said. She wants the best for the both of us. After 2 years of marriage without children, Mabi became a constant headache. She was all over her son and Ngozi. What's wrong with the both of you now? Why haven't you given me grandchildren? This your house is too quiet. It needs to be noisy. I need children, she would always complain. Fortunately, not long after, Ngozi conceived and became pregnant. It was a moment of joy. Everyone, Mama B was especially excited. Finally, oh, a grandchild to carry on the family name. Hey, she exclaimed. Ngozi hoped that the arrival of the baby would bring some balance to her marriage. Perhaps with the child, Mabi would step back a little, allowing her and Ndubuisi to build their own life. But that hope was short-lived. Mama B's involvement only increased as she took it upon herself to ensure Ngozi followed every old tradition and custom related to pregnancy. You have to mind the things you eat oh, so my grandchild will not have jeji-deji. No more milk, no ice cream, no meat, she commanded. Ndubuisi, please give my grandchild more vegetables. I want to have a very brilliant grandchild, she continued. Ndubuisi, always respectful of his mother's wishes, supported her advice, often reminding Ngozi of the importance of following these traditions. It was his way of showing love and loyalty to the two most important women in his life. But to Ngozi, it felt like a strong battle she would have to fight one day. As Ngozi's pregnancy progressed, the excitement in their home was palpable. But in the 7th month, everything changed. One day, during a routine checkup, there was a grin on the doctor's face as he examined her results. There might be a problem, he said, looking at Ngozi sternly. I would like to speak to you and your husband tomorrow morning. What is the issue, doctor? Ndubuisi said, tension in his voice at the doctor's office the next day they went. There is a complication, the doctor said, his voice steady but serious. Ngozi's condition is taking an unusual turn and is affecting the baby. The worst part is that the condition is critical and life-threatening for both the baby and the mother. We need to prepare for the worst. If things don't improve, you have to make a difficult choice to save either the baby or the mother, or you would lose them both, he said, scribbling things on a file in front of him. Come back next week for our final test. Ndubuisi's words spun out of control. He looked at Ngozi, who sat in stone silence, her hand trembling on her belly. The thought of losing her or their unborn child was unbearable. The next few days at home was awkward. Ngozi and Ndubuisi would sit in the sitting room silent for hours. One night, as they sat silently in the bedroom, Ngozi spoke. We are choosing the baby, right? She said, looking at her husband curiously. Well, I will have to ask my mom, he answered. I am just confused, you know. You know how long it took us for us to conceive. I don't know if I'll be able to father a child. The next day, Mama B visited the house as usual, barking orders like the commander she is. Ngozi! Ngozi! She screamed from the sitting room. Yes, ma! She answered, her voice shaking. What is the matter? Mama B said, noticing Ngozi's sullen eyes. Why are you crying? I thought Ndubuisi told you, Ngozi answered. Told me what? What is the matter? Is my grandchild safe? She asked, her voice full of concern. Ngozi explained the situation to her, her heart heavy with fear and uncertainty. Mama B listened quietly, her face unreadable. When Ngozi finished, she took a deep breath and said, Tell Ndubuisi to see me once he's back. As she stood up to leave. But Mama, who should he choose in the circumstance? Ngozi asked. Mama B looked at Ngozi for a second. He should make the choice that is best for the family, she said as she stormed out of the house. When Ndubuisi came home from work that day, Ngozi quickly informed him of his mother's visit. Why did you tell her? Ndubuisi screamed. I wanted us to deal with these issues ourselves. Oh no, Ngo, why now? But you told me you needed to get her opinion now, she snapped. I just told you that to get you off my neck. I never meant to ask her. Of course, you know I'll choose you over any baby now. Whether or not you are able to conceive again, I cannot afford to lose you, he said. But now that you've told Mama B, that woman can be persuasive. Well, I will go and see her later on, he said, walking into his room. Later that day, Ndubuisi went to visit his mother. Ndu, my son, the mother screamed. Your wife told me there's a complication in her pregnancy, she said, trying to start the conversation. Ndubuisi tried to brush it off. Yes, but we've handled it already. Handled it how? Mama B inquired, her voice trembling with concern. We are going to save Ngozi, of course, he said dismissively. Wait, my son. What do you mean by that? Are you aware that that baby is the future of our family? We prayed and fasted for that child, though. And remember your health condition. You may not be lucky enough to have another baby. This may be your only chance of having a legacy. I know it's not going to be easy, but you must let Ngozi go if it comes to it, she said, her voice cut deep. But Ndubuisi knew where she was coming from. When he was little, he had a fatal accident which affected his organs. The doctors said he might have issues impregnating a woman. His mother felt that his condition will affect his ability to impregnate any other woman, as she believed that this pregnancy was just a miracle. She had given up everything for him, and now, in her mind, the survival of the child represented the survival of their family's legacy. When he got back home, Ngozi was waiting for him at the door. I would like to know what your mom advised, she said curiously, looking intently at her husband as he walked quickly into the bedroom. I don't have to follow my mother's advice, he said, trying to calm the already brewing tension inside of Ngozi. Ngozi screamed at his words. You mean Mama B chose the baby over me? She screamed, tears filling her eyes. Don't worry, baby. Nothing is going to happen to you or the baby, he assured her. As Ndubuisi laid in the bed that night, his mind roamed as he remembered his mother's words. His respect for his mother ran deep. Every decision he had ever made, he made with her in mind. Her wisdom had been his guiding star. But now, for the first time in his life, her advice felt like a weight too heavy to carry. As the day of reckoning approached, Ndubuisi prayed that things would get better and that the doctors would not have to call him to choose. Unfortunately, it was the opposite. Ngozi grew weaker by the day, her body struggling to support the life inside of her. Ndubuisi could see the fear in her eyes, but she remained strong, trusting that whatever happened was beyond her control. His mother's words echoed in his mind. This may be your only chance of having a legacy. But as he lay next to Ngozi, feeling the soft rise and fall of her breath, he wondered if he could really let her go. How could he live with himself? And yet, how could he survive without the child they had both prayed and longed for? He feared that no matter what he chose, he would be losing everything. The day came sooner than anyone expected. Ngozi had suddenly slumped in the sitting room while she was trying to stand up from the couch. Ndubuisi and Mama B were sitting outside at the time when they heard the sudden noise. They quickly rushed her to the hospital, her condition rapidly deteriorating. The doctors worked tirelessly, but the complication had reached its peak. Ndubuisi was called into the office once again, his heart pounding. Mama B rushed into the doctor's office with his son. We have to act now, the doctor said. It's time to make a decision. We need to do the operation now. We can save the baby or we can save the mother, but we can't guarantee to save both of them. Ndubuisi's mind went blank. The room seemed to close in on him as the weight of the decision pressed down. He thought of his mother's stern face, her unwavering belief that the child must be saved. But then, he thought of Ngozi, his wife. Her laughter, her kindness, the life they had shared. How could he let her go? The mother screamed from the backseat, "Please save my grandchild. You can always remarry, but you may never be able to bear another child," she cried, fake tears dripping from her eyes. Ndubuisi looked at her mother. With a trembling voice, he finally said, "You can save the baby." The words felt like a betrayal as they left his lips, but he couldn't take them back. Hours passed like days as Ndubuisi paced the hospital walls, waiting for news. His mind was a whirlwind of regret and guilt. He thought of all the moments he had shared with his wife, Ngozi, and the future they had dreamed of together. He thought of his mother, who was just as anxious, pacing around the hall, waiting for the news of her grandchild. Finally, the doctor emerged, his face unreadable. Ndubuisi's heart sank. "You're not going to believe this," the doctor said, his voice laced with awe and excitement. "Both Ngozi and the baby have survived. It's a miracle." Ndubuisi could hardly believe it. Relief flooded his body, and for the first time in days, he felt like he could breathe again. Both his wife and child were alive. The decision he had made, though heart-wrenching, had not taken Ngozi from him. God had smiled upon him, sparing both lives, and he wouldn't have to die in regret. But beneath the surface of his joy, something had changed. The choice Ndubuisi made lingered like a shadow, unspoken yet ever present. In the days and weeks that followed, Ndubuisi and Ngozi returned home with their baby boy, Ifeanyi. From the outside, everything seemed perfect. A family united, a newborn to care for, and a bright future ahead. But Ndubuisi could sense that something had shifted between him and Ngozi. Though she never mentioned it, he could see the distance in her eyes and the quiet way she carried herself. He knew that she remembered the choice he had made, even though both of them had survived. It was an unspoken tension that neither of them could bring themselves to address. Mama B, meanwhile, was overjoyed at the arrival of her grandson. She visited even more often, cooing over Ifeanyi and offering advice to Ngozi on how to take care of the baby. But Ngozi remained polite yet distant, her own feelings towards Ndubuisi's mother having grown colder since that fateful day. Ngozi carried on, seeking for a job and finding ways to better her life. The deep knowledge that her husband cared more about the legacy still gnawed at her. Fortunately, she got a good job at an oil company and started working there diligently. As time passed, Ndubuisi and Ngozi sought to ensure a bright future for their son. They created a trust fund for Ifeanyi, setting aside a significant portion of their earnings, mostly Ngozi's, to secure her education and future. It was a way of giving him the best opportunities they could offer. The trust fund became a symbol of their commitment to their son, and Ngozi in particular felt strongly about protecting it. To her, it represented the life they had almost lost and the promise that Ifeanyi's future would be safe no matter what. Though their marriage seemed to stabilize on the surface, the underlying strain never truly left. Ndubuisi was haunted by the choice he had made, and Ngozi, though grateful for her life, could never fully forget that in the moment of crisis, her husband had chosen the baby over her. Years passed, and life carried on. Ifeanyi grew into a bright, joyful child, bringing light to their home. But one fateful afternoon, as Ndubuisi and Ngozi were chatting idly, a call came in, interrupting their afternoon. "His mama," Ndubuisi screamed as he rushed into the room to get his car keys. "They say she slumped at the market in the neighborhood and have been rushed to the hospital," he explained. The air seemed to thicken as Ndubuisi sped to the hospital. When he arrived, the doctors delivered sad news. His mother, Mabi, had quietly suffered from kidney failure. The condition has been lurking, masked by subtle symptoms that had long evaded diagnosis. Now, her health was swiftly unraveling. Ndubuisi was devastated. His mother, the woman who had sacrificed everything for him, was slipping away. He knew he had to act quickly, if there was any chance of saving her. What do we do? Ndubuisi asked desperately. Her condition is critical, the doctor answered. But first, you have to make a down payment to enable us start treatment, the doctor said, handing him a note. Ndubuisi gasped as he saw the down payment he was asked to do. The money ran into millions. Ndubuisi quickly cleared his account. Please, doctor, he pleaded, do anything to save my mother. She's all I have. As the days passed, the doctor sent for Ndubuisi. It looks like your mom is not responding to dialysis treatment we've been giving her for days now, he said. Her condition is deteriorating. The only option available now is a kidney transplant. Kidney transplant? Ndubuisi screamed. And we have to do it in 2 days if your mother will survive. Ndubuisi was dumbstruck. He immediately volunteered to give his mother his own kidney. But after the test was run, it was discovered that his kidney was not in the best position to be donated. You have to find the kidney donor, the doctor informed him. And the unfortunate part is that time is not on your side. If you do not get it in 2 days, I'm sorry, your mom will be gone. Ndubuisi felt his life leave him. As he walked out of the doctor's office, he went into his mother's ward. Seeing his mother lifeless, he sobbed bitterly, praying for a miracle of some sort. The amount of money the doctor had mentioned to get a kidney was way beyond him. He had already cleared his account initially for the dialysis and had no other ways to raise any money. Ndubuisi began to look for ways to raise the money for the kidney transplant, but no matter where he turned, the costs were too high. Desperate, he turned to Ngozi with a plea that would shake the very foundation of their marriage. Ngo, he began one evening, his voice heavy with sorrow. My mother's treatments, they are more than I can afford. Please, can we use some of the money from Ifani's trust fund to pay for them? Ngozi looked at him in disbelief. The trust fund? Ndubuisi, that money is for our son's future. You can't touch it though. I know now, but it's my mother's life we're talking about here. My mother is dying, and we don't have time. This money would save her, please. Ngozi's heart raced as the memories of her pregnancy and the decision Ndubuisi had made came flooding back. How could he ask her to make a sacrifice again? No, Ndubuisi, she said firmly. I won't let you take from our son's future. No, he's the only legacy we have, and we need to give him the best. The tension between them, once silent, now exploded into full view. Ndubuisi couldn't understand how Ngozi would be so cold and wicked. Why Ngozi couldn't believe that Ndubuisi would ask her to give up their son's future? I know I made a choice once, Ndubuisi said bitterly. I chose Ifani's life over yours, and I lost a part of you because of it. Please now, I'm asking for a chance to save my mother here. I've never forgotten that choice, Ngozi replied, her voice breaking. And this time, just like your mother, I'm choosing our son. You will have to find another way. Oh. As the days went by, Ndubuisi tried different ways to get Ngozi to release the trust fund, but she remained adamant, citing that her mother was already old and their son needed to get the best from life. As the date for the surgery reached, Ndubuisi walked into the doctor's office, looking exhausted. Doctor, I have gone everywhere. I'm so sorry. I cannot afford the kidney transplant, he muttered, his face pale and swollen. I will have to live without my mother, he said, his voice shaking. I don't know any other thing to do. Please, is there any other way? No. What are you talking about? The doctor asked, looking at him confused. Someone had already paid for the transplant, he said. My attention was drawn a few hours ago, and fortunately we have found a match. I'm rounding up here to go perform the surgery. What? Ndubuisi asked, a mix of excitement and confusion in his voice. Who paid for the transplant? He asked. You can go to the cashier to make that inquiry. Right now, I'm running behind time. Ndubuisi ran to the cashier, and on getting there, he He was informed that a certain Ngozi had made the payments. Ndubuisi's mind raced in disbelief. The woman he felt had abandoned his mother's cause had come to save her. Rushing to the ward, he found Ngozi lying beside his mother's bed, a gentle smile on her face. Why? Why did you do it? He asked. Ngozi's response was simple but powerful. Family, is not just about legacy. It's about love and sacrifice. In that moment, Ndubuisi realized that his wife had taught him the true meaning of family. And as they hugged, tears of joy streaming down their faces, Ngozi's love had finally found her way back home. 2 weeks later, Mabi walked into their room, her face radiant with gratitude. Ngozi, my daughter, she said, her voice trembling. I owe you my life. I heard what you did. I was really wrong to have prioritized legacy over love. You have shown me that family is about sacrifice and compassion. Ngozi smiled, her eyes shining with tears. We are family, Mama. We stick together no matter what. And with that, the three of them embraced, their hearts filled with a newfound appreciation for each other. Thank you so much for watching this story to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. This story is a powerful reminder of the complexities of family, love, and forgiveness. It teaches us that in every relationship, especially within a family, there will be trials and moments when we are faced with impossible choices. But what truly matters is how we navigate those challenges through understanding, empathy, and a willingness to put the needs of others above our pride. As the story concludes, I would like to leave us with this beautiful message. Families, though imperfect, can heal and grow stronger through love, communication, and forgiveness. Thank you so much for staying with us to the end. I hope you enjoyed this story. We would like you to comment, like, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories like this. Until next time, see you in the next video. Bye. Thank you so much for